On July 6th, and for details, visit SyracuseMets.com. First pitch into Giwan Bay is a called strike, starting off the bottom of the second inning. Mets have a 1-0 lead over the Iron Pigs. Bryce Wilson back on the mound for his second inning. He winds up and delivers. Bay takes a fastball inside, even count. It's been a really solid season for Bay so far. .314 batting average. Last 9 games, he's hitting .393. 1-1. And Bay grounds it in between short and third. How about another base hit for Giwan Bay? He is just on a tear.
After starting the year ice cold, he was in the bottom third of the order, not even hitting 200. And now he is a force in this lineup. Today he's batting in the 6th spot. We've seen him as high as the 3-hole hitter last week in Worcester. In baseball is real. Time for Giwan Bay to step up. Swings at the first pitch and pokes that one foul. It's 0-1. What I was going to say is, A.J. Ewing misreads the sign from the third base coach, and then an inning-ending double play happens. You don't score anything off of that. So you have an error from Syracuse in the bases, and then an error in the field from Lehigh. Bay, the lefty hitter. Wilson, the righty. He throws. Runner goes. Pitch misses inside. The gun down to second base is late. Brujan into the backside of the bag. Vidal Brujan safe at second base with a stolen base. You can stay safe in life, too, with regular screenings from St. Joseph's Cancer Care. Brujan now 5 for 7 swiping bags this year. So another Mets in scoring position. 3-0 Syracuse in the bottom of the third. Wilson's 1-0. Bay hits it off the handle, foul. Hits off at the sweet level and bounces into the 100 section. The ball and 2 strikes.
If you look up and down this Mets lineup right now, more than half of them are a stolen base threat at any given time. Ewing, Morabito, Brujan, Bay, Pache, they can all run.
1-2. Bay cracks it down the left field line, hooking towards the berm, and it hits off of the protective netting that runs all the way down to the foul line. The ball and 2 strikes. But you're right, Jack. I mean, you've got power in Clifford and Arroyo, power with Pache, power with Sanger. A few guys that have power and speed.
It's just a great mix.
Yeah, this is a great lineup. Vidal Brujan at second base, Bay at the plate, and he fouls the 1-2 away. I mean, you got a guy hitting .324 sitting in the 6-hole.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad at all. And a lineup that's sustained change, too. Ronnie Mauricio is leading the charge for a couple weeks. Up with the big leagues now.
1-2 offering. Bay a half swing. Did he go? No, says the third base ump, Joe McCarthy. Tim Barreras is over at first base. Stephen Hodges, the crew chief, is behind home. Seventh pitch of the at-bat. Fouled away. Giwan Bay has been a tough out as of late.
How about what the Mets have done to Wilson? It's not like they're hammering homers off of him, but he's thrown 50 pitches so far. He's not even through the third inning.
His 51st is lined into right center field. Baroa tracking it down and can't get there. Lands in right center for a base knock. Brujan scores from second, and Giwan Bay has a stand-up RBI double. Bay's 11th run batted in on the season makes it 4-0 Mets in the bottom of the third.
The Giwan Bay is sneakily a really good bad ball hitter. That was a changeup, maybe 6 inches below the strike zone, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
The 0-1 is cracked into center for another base hit. Giwan Bay rounds third. He scores easily. Christian Pache gets the stop sign at third. An RBI single for Hayden Sanger allows the Mets to pour it on. 4 runs in the third inning, and Syracuse is out to a 5-0 advantage.
When the bottom of this lineup is getting on base, getting RBI base.
Brought it over to the ball boy. So a man at second, no outs, 6-0 Mets in front. Here's Giwan Bay. Wilson throws. Bay slams it into center field, looping and dropping for a base hit. Bruhan stops at third base, loses his helmet, as Nagowski gave him a stop sign after the turn. Giwan Bay is 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double.
Yeah, Bay's just on a tear right now. You know, you throw him a strike or you don't throw him a strike. He's really going to barrel it up. And is it just me or does Bruhan, can he never keep his helmet on? That thing flies off every time he tries to steal a base, going second to third.
Whoever gets 0-2 pitch. Sanger grounds it slowly past the pitcher to the second baseman. Peguero only plays to first.
2-1 pitch. Bounced back to the mound. Pintaro fields, throws to second, and Bay throws to first. And Arroyo kept his toes on the bag for a game-ending double play.
Right, and we've seen the Mets, even back in Game 1, they're not afraid to lay a bunt down or, you know, just move the runner any way they can.
Giwan Bay up to bat, and the pitch is bunted foul along the first baseline. So right idea, but they dragged it into foul territory. I mean, Giwan's a good bunter, but I think you want him swinging away right now.
I think I just heard a fan say, you have over a 900 OPS swinging away, which I do understand.
Pretty good math, yeah.
Yeah, but Giwan Bay has kind of evolved into this player that can do anything he wants at the plate right now.
338 batting average right now. For the 0-1, Bruhan steps back on the bag, and it's a balk. Chuck King balked and gave Bruhan a free base. So now it's an interesting question. Do you try to bunt again to get him to third, or in an 0-1 count, do you let him swing? Take a look at the balk here.
And it was he flinched before throwing.
Yeah. Bay grounds it along the first baseline and fair. Rolling into right field foul territory. Bruhan's coming home to score. Helmet flies off, and the Mets lead it 1-0 in the fourth. Giwan Bay cracks open the scoring with an RBI double.
Well, the fan got what he wanted. It's a nice piece of hitting by Giwan. Keeps his hands back just enough on a changeup. Was a little bit out in front of it and got it just over the first base bag into right field. 1-0 lead now for the Mets.
Out of the fourth.
And keep in mind, this is a 7-inning game, so for Syracuse, they're hoping that they only have 2 more innings at the plate. Even though it's the fourth, this kind of acts like the 6th inning in a regular game, so, you know, it's a fair time to use a challenge.
Double that brought in Vidal Bruhan to score. Gave Syracuse a 1-0 lead. And now home plate umpire Joe, sure, like a football game or something, where the ref steps in and walks up to the center and says, you got to look the nose tackle in the eye.
It's kind of like, you know, like the Where My Hug At guys. It's like from Concord, North Carolina stands in and faces Giwan Bay. First pitch is outside of the lefty, ball 1. So they go from King to Johnson here in the 6th inning after the Iron Pigs took the lead. Or not took the lead. They tied the game at 2 in the top half. Johnson deals. Fastball high and away. It is 2-0 on the lefty, Bay. So the Mets have Bay, Pache, Hernandez, 5, 6, and 7 duo. Currently, no one getting loose in the Syracuse bullpen. This would be the Mets' last ups if they got the lead. 2-0 pitches upstairs, 3-0. So, hey, it's a good start here.
Well, having Giwan Bay up to start this inning is just like having your leadoff man up. I mean,
Exactly.
He's hitting 347 right now.
Righty on lefty battle. And the 3-0. Fastball down the chute, strike 1. Johnson, a former compensatory pick by the Tampa Bay Rays back in 2019 out of Campbell College, home of the Camels, has bounced back and forth from Philly and Lehigh. Pitch. Bay cracks it up the middle for a base hit. Giwan Bay continues to swing a hot bat. He's got another multi-hit game.
Hey, Bay is 5 for 6 today. He has been outstanding.
Bay safe on the bases once again. And you can stay safe in life too with regular screenings from St. Joseph's Cancer Care. I mean, you can't keep
Yanni Hernandez to step up.
Pache lays down a bunt, but it rolls foul. That was a pure sacrifice moment because Pache laid it down. He didn't even hustle out of the box originally, and that ball did bounce in fair territory. So he is really trying to get this bunt down and move Giwan.
Yeah, he was trying.
Is applying. You want to move that guy to third. Third baseman in. Oh, they throw to first. Base slides back in. Third baseman Keyboom is a couple strides in on the grass, and now he backs up to the baseline. More so to the cutout in front of third base. Now Keyboom walks slowly towards home plate. A ball and a strike on Pache. And here's the pitch. Pache squares, pulls back, and it's a called strike. Ball is out for the 1-1. Bay on the move, and Hernandez fouls it into the screen. So they try and get the hit and run going. Giwan just cannot get to second base right now. He's trying his best.
Not to harp on the point, but I understand maybe bunting with 2 strikes. If you have somebody up who just doesn't really have much of a shot.
1-2 pitch. Hernandez the pitch. Giwan on the move. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. No throw down to second. So the Mets do get Giwan Bay in scoring position, but it's at the cost of 2 strikeouts.
A couple of weird at-bats, to put it simply. You know, Pache bunting foul for strike 3.